financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is superheroes in the fight to financial survival. I want to welcome my superheroes. Jenny Lingl, my superhero tax expert.
Good to be here, Ken. Glad to be a superhero today and every day.
Jeffrey Kirshner, my superhero workers' compensation and disability expert.
I saw the Law and Reality signal and I came running.
Brian Small, superhero of financial problems and estate planning.
Where's the phone booth?
I promise you guys that our
They don't
viewing
have those
audience
anymore, Brian.
is visually seeing your superhero costumes on the screen as we speak right now. And Jenny, I picked red for you.
Awesome. That's what I was going to ask for.
Sometimes, why am I calling you superheroes? Because we're able to accomplish things that people don't expect in the ordinary course to do. That makes you a superhero. But sometimes it's not just, we're not just the superhero. Sometimes what we like to do, and Brian, this is something you have coined the phrase from, is we turn our client into the superhero.
That's because the key for financial survivability for a lot of people is making them uncollectible. Sometimes we can't put somebody through a bankruptcy. Sometimes the opportunity to do debt resolution either isn't there or isn't the most viable solution. Sometimes we just make them completely uncollectible so they can live their life, bank, eat, sleep, be happy, and tell the creditors you're getting nothing.
Let me see if I understand what you're saying. At least I guess you're super passionate about
I am
the issue.
passionate about it.
When we say then you're making him a superhero, you're making him a super uncollectible hero. Is that what it means?
Well, superheroes are bulletproof, right?
Yes.
You can't kill a superhero. Somehow, even if they die in
Unless
a
you have
comic book,
kryptonite.
well, even if they die in the comic book, somehow they come back. That didn't even work for Superman. Superman died and came back. Sorry to be a spoiler for anybody that wanted to see the movie. But reality is that when we talk about making somebody a superhero, we're talking about making them uncollectible. So their creditors don't get the precious earnings that they do have.
All right, let's put it to a person. Let's take our fictitious client, Ted. I was going to call him Jeff, but I decided I didn't want to confuse him with Jeff.
Close to
with
home,
superhero Jeff
confusing.
Kirshner.
Right.
So Ted has regular income. He's got too many assets for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. He has too much income for a Chapter 13, which means if he filed a Chapter 13, we'd have to pay back his creditors 100 cents on the dollar. We want to do debt resolution for him, and we'll get to how that works, but Ted he needs more time. He needs time in order to be able to continue to operate, and he's got judgment creditors that are going to come after him and chasing him. So we need to protect Ted's cash flow, make him uncollectible, while we come up with a strategy to resolve his debts. Example, suppose Ted gets injured and he suffers a loss of income and he's looking at disability. But meanwhile, Ted's got he's got an IRA of $300,000. He's got cash in the bank of $40,000. He owns a home with his wife, fair market value $300,000, equity $150,000. He makes between $90,000 and $150,000 a year. He's a business consultant and it fluctuates, but now he's going to take a hit because he's disabled for a time period. He doesn't know how long it's going to last, but his income is down, and he's got debt. He's got $150,000 of debt. He's got a $100,000 credit card debt, $50,000 bank loan,
Well,
and they're coming after him.
Well, let's tell you what the credit card companies would say. Oh, you've got an IRA. Why don't you just go take the money out of that and pay us? Then you won't owe us anything, and you'll be out of debt. That is what Visa, MasterCard, and any other credit card company and any other lender is going to say to you. You've got the resources, you should pay us. And Ted shouldn't do that.
For sure he shouldn't, because they can't get to that money. They can never get to their IRA, to your 401k. And what's worse about it is you're 100% right. When we say Visa and MasterCard is going to tell you to do that, you have to understand how it happens. They call you relentlessly. You get this sweet woman on the phone who sounds like your mother or your grandmother, and she wants to help you. And she says to you, well, do you have it? We don't want to report you late to the credit bureau. We want to protect your credit.
Because that could impact your credit, exactly.
So do you have any retirement money? Do you have an IRA? Do you know you can borrow the money from your 401k and take a loan? Or you're allowed to take the money out of your IRA and you only have to pay a 10% penalty. And by doing so, you can save and protect your credit. And we'll actually reduce your interest rate for you while you're doing that. They make it sound like they're being helpful. So they don't, it's not like they threaten you to go out and bust your 401k or your IRA. They talk you into it like it's your grandmother helping you. It is the worst possible advice. The solution is, Brian's solution. Let's make Ted a superhero. Let's make him bulletproof and uncollectible so that if Visa and MasterCard sues him, they're not able to then go into, after they get a judgment, and levy on his bank account. Remember, Ted's got $40,000 in savings that's not in an IRA. So how do we do that, Brian?
Well, a lot of it has to do with Ted becoming, quote unquote, self-employed and owning his own business.
In our case, he's a consultant, so it's pretty easy.
So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna form an LLC, a limited liability company for Ted. The purpose of which is to allow Ted to operate a business legally.
We come back. I'm going to cut you off. We're going to take a break. When we come back, you're going to explain why does that help him make him bulletproof.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. All right, so I cut you off because we're coming. Commercials are important in our world.
I understand.
They pay the bills. But Ted's going to form an LLC. How does that make him bulletproof?
Well, Ted or his wife can form an LLC. Either
But
one
Ted's
of
a
them.
consultant. Let's say he forms Ted Silverstein LLC. Okay. And his wife could own the LLC,
Absolutely.
or Ted could own it.
Absolutely.
Okay. If all of the creditors are only Ted's, it might be beneficial to make his wife the owner.
Probably would be, but it doesn't necessarily matter either. Ted can operate the business within the LLC, and the income that is earned by the LLC isn't garnishable by Ted's creditors. The LLC is a separate legal entity. Treat it like it's a separate person. It's got its own identification number. It can have employees. Ted can earn an income through it. And the only thing the creditors can do is if Ted takes a distribution, the creditors could garnish the distribution.
Let's say, except for the IRS. They have
Well,
a
of course, the
different set of rules.
IRS has something called...
I don't want
They're more
everyone
tentacles.
calling me saying, let's do an LLC. I'm never going to be garnished
That
again.
used to work a long, long time ago. It doesn't work anymore with the
Yeah,
IRS.
they pierce through those entities quite easily.
Yes.
But regular creditors cannot. A regular creditor can only attach distributions, and if you don't make a distribution, there's nothing to attach. We can go a step further. We can have Ted be an employee of the LLC, paying him $20,000 a year of salary, and Ted's wife can be the owner, taking out the distributions of profit. She has no creditor problems. There's nothing you can do. In terms of Ted, if they try and attach Ted's wages on his $20,000 a year, he's going to fit within the exemption because you're allowed to keep, you can only attach 25% of your net paycheck. They won't be able to get any money. We also sometimes have Ted form his own management company to pay his personal bills out of. Now, you can't deduct those as expenses on your tax return, but it's effectively a distribution, but it's a way in which you can't get, a creditor can't get to the money. That's where we're making Ted a superhero.
The key to turning Ted into a superhero is putting layers and layers of walls between Ted and his creditors. And we build the wall higher and higher and higher. And here's the key note. Creditors' attorneys, love them to death, are lazy. If you can go...
If you're a creditor's attorney, please turn the channel and watch something else for now.
Because I'm going to explain
Because we want to work with you as long as we work with us on our terms.
What I mean by that is they go after the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, they want to just get the easy money.
If they get a judgment against somebody, they're going to go for the normal bank collection, the normal bank garnishment. They're going to go after normal wages that can be garnished. When they can't be when you can't garnish somebody because they're self-employed, it turns out that you'll see them. Maybe they'll hold a creditor's exam, and then they'll stop. It's only the big, giant creditors that will try, like millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars, that will keep pushing and pushing.
Because the normal collection law firm has thousands and thousands of files, and they're earning their income on a percentage of what they collect. They want, just like Brian says, they want to get the easy money that they can attach on wages and bank accounts. They don't want to spend hours going into court battling on the idea of attaching distributions from an LLC and then in arguing whether they can then pierce the LLC. It gets too complicated.
I mean, the laziness isn't really laziness. It's practicality.
Well, it's a volume practice, and that's how they make their money.
It's smart business. They're in the business to make money. They're not in the business to to prove themselves correct. So let's shift the gears now. We have Ted bulletproof. He's a superhero. But we have to still address his problem. How do we get rid of this $100,000 of credit card debt, this $50,000 of bank debt, so that we can get Ted back on track and he doesn't have to worry about this for the rest of his life? How does debt resolution work? This is what we talk about on the show, and I want to begin with it by saying you see on TV and hear on radio constant commercials for debt settlement. Now, is debt settlement the same as debt resolution?
Well, if you start off with the basic premise that at the end of the day, the debt goes away and you've paid less than what you owe on it, okay, debt settlement might be the same. But that's as close as they can be related. Debt settlement is based on this whole concept of a 4-year plan. 4 years. You just send money out to some company in California and they'll store your money.
Yeah, you've got this, you're entitled to this official program.
Right.
If you have more than $10,000 of credit card
They
debt,
make it
you're
very
entitled
confusing.
to
They do.
It's, people think that they're sending this money and that the credit card companies are all in agreement with it
right
from the start, and that's not the case.
What happens is, first of all, they generally tend to settle their debts 55, 65 cents on the dollar. Then, when they settle them, they also have been storing your money, that they've been charging you a
monthly fee
to store your money. And they charge you 15 to 18% of the underlying debt that they're going to settle. The average, I've figured out, by the time it's all said and done, you're paying at least 70 cents on the dollar overall to settle your debts. Why on earth would you do that over 4 years? And by the way, who thinks that if you don't pay your credit card bills in 4 years, you're not going to get sued? You're going to get sued. And when you look at page 35 of their engagement agreement, subparagraph 14 in the 4-point font, it says, by the way, we're not lawyers, and if you get sued, you've got to find a lawyer. We do debt resolution.
What we're going to do, I want to talk about debt resolution when we're coming up to a break, after the break. The point I want to really make is debt resolution is different than what you hear on debt settlement. Is a scam in many respects. They talk about their Better Business Bureau rating. They settle the debts at too high a cost. You get sued, they don't represent you. They charge you too much, and 4 years is too long of a period of time to get out of debt. The key is to get out of debt the fastest, smartest way. We'll be back after the break. We'll explain to you the difference and then explain to you how debt resolution does work.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you're approaching retirement and don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your investments, and your savings. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Putting a solid strategy in place with Samasco Law legally protects your assets as well as your wishes. Since a will doesn't cover you medically or financially, Samasco Law goes beyond ordinary asset management protection to safeguard everything you have.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Time for announcements. I want to remind our viewers to listen to us Tuesdays 11:30 and Saturdays 7 a.m. for Law and Reality Live on Praise 102.7. On Thursdays 3 to 4 p.m. Law and Reality Now on 9:10 a.m. Be sure and sign up for our monthly contest. Free $50 Visa gift card, Law and Reality hat, and copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Go to the websites, click on the link, and you can sign up. We have seminars coming up. On Wednesday, April 25, 6 to 7:30 p.m., How to Avoid and How to Survive Probate. Estate Planning is a Must. Jeff Linden's going to join us. He's our probate expert and commercial litigator. We're going to go over all the elements of an estate plan. Brian Small and I are going to walk you through that process, the documents you need to have while you're living, the important documents that you need relative to your death, how to avoid probate, and how to handle a probate fight when it happens. Attendees get a free $300 gold certificate off the cost of an estate plan. Sign up at thavgross.com or lawandreality.com. Then on Wednesday, May 9th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., Freedom Means Being Debt-Free. We're going to have a debt relief seminar focusing on all the means and methods that we use to eliminate debt, solutions with bankruptcy, solutions outside of bankruptcy. The focus is not as much on eliminating debt as it is on preserving your future income. Jeff Kirshner will join us for a special segment addressing disability claims and workers' compensation. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. I want to remind our viewers you're always welcome to come to THAV Gross for a free consultation. Just go to the websites, click HELP, or call the office at 888-235-HELP. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business issues, probate issues, elder law issues with Pat Samasco, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. It's all available to you. Just go to the websites, request the consult, or sign up, or call 888-235-HELP. Also, go to the websites for free reports. There's a great report on how to save your home from foreclosure, business formations and loans and grants for small businesses in Michigan, and the Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Samasco Law, Jeff Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
We're back from the break with Superhero Jenny, Superhero Jeff, Superhero Brian. All right. We talked about debt settlement. Debt resolution, here's how I want to explain what we call debt resolution. First of all, debt resolution is something that we came up with at THAV Gross, that we invented. And here's where it came from. And it started back around 2006 and 7. Clients would come in and we'd be looking at filing a bankruptcy, and they wouldn't fit within the parameters of a Chapter 7. They either had too many assets or they made too much money. Chapter 13 would work, but when we would analyze it, we would be paying them back too much money. They'd be getting paid 60, 70 cents on the dollar on their credit cards, or even 100% on the dollar. So it wasn't a good solution. The client had credit card debt. Chapter 7 wasn't available. Chapter 13 was too costly from the standpoint that creditors got too much. So we came up with our own program of how can we resolve the debt and our own strategy, not looking at the debt settlement companies at all, because they weren't even really around at that point. And what we said was this: if we can settle the debt within a period of 18 to 24 months, for a client who has sufficient income to make the minimum monthly payments, if we could take the minimum monthly payments that they were making over a period of 18 to 24 months and use that fund of money to settle all the debt and pay the attorney fees, then it was a great program. And why is it a great program? Because if you did nothing, in 24 months you would have made your minimum payments and you'd still owe the $40,000 of credit card debt, or in Ted's case, the $100,000. But if you did the program in 18 to 24 months using the same cash flow, you'd be out of debt.
You know, one key here,
and
though,
we found out that it works.
and it works for all sorts of debts. It doesn't just work for credit cards.
Or bank
It works
debt.
for hospital bills. It works for commercial lines of credit. It works for general bank debt, personal loans. Whatever it is that you owe, if you owe somebody money, we can negotiate it.
But here's the point. It only is smart if it's the best alternative. You need to do the analysis. The rule is this. We want the debt settled and the debt eliminated at the least cost and in the fastest possible way. The analysis for every client that comes in is, first, do you fit within a Chapter 7? It's not a bad thing to file Chapter 7. It's a good thing because it's the cheapest, fastest way to get rid of the debt.
And it gets you a fresh start.
If you don't qualify for a 7 because you have too much income or too many assets, then we look at a Chapter 13 and say, what will the outcome be there? Because in a 13, we can lien strip cars from the standpoint of auto loans that are outstanding for more than 270 days.
Cram down a car for
right, and lien strip second mortgages.
Yep.
Okay, but sometimes in a 13, the price is X over 5 years to get rid of the debt. As an alternative, we look, okay, is debt resolution available? Is that the cheaper, best outcome of the three alternatives? When it is, that's what we do. But it never is. Debt resolution is not a 4-year plan. If your debt settlement, it will always be the bad outcome because a 13 or a 7 would be better. You have to evaluate the program from the standpoint of looking at all three opportunities. A debt settlement company doesn't do that.
And one key thing to remember about throughout all of this, no matter whether you're looking at debt resolution, Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, people always come in and say, what about my credit score? And I'm going to tell you this right now, your credit score is its own superhero. It heals itself. When you get rid of the debt, your score will be better. And it will continue to rise when you don't do any damage to your credit score. So adding one more superhero, FICO.
And you're usually not in a position to buy a house or to get a car, so your credit score is irrelevant anyway.
The key is getting rid of the debt so that when you're 75, you have cash in the bank and savings to live and cover your expenses, and you can live in retirement comfortably, and that you haven't spent all your money giving it to Visa and MasterCard and interest, and then when you're 75, you're broke and begging for money from your children. That's the key. That's what you need to think about when you're dealing with those issues. Superhero Jenny, Superhero Jeff, Superhero Brian, thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality. Have a great week.